Good afternoon. Good afternoon from Delaware. Today is February 12th, 2026. Thank you guys for joining in. This is Lucy. The channel is Lucy Mwangi USA. On this channel, we talk about legal pathways of coming to the United States. We give you immigration updates as they come up, and we also talk about the diversity visa lottery process and life in America as an African immigrant. So sometimes I give you real life stories or real life updates on what's going on and the experiences that we have as immigrants here in the United States. So on this live stream, we'll talk about any DV lottery process updates, if there's any. We'll talk about the current immigrant visa process. I know that's something that we have to talk about on a daily basis because there are a lot of people that are affected. Travel bans affecting multiple countries, lots of people affected by that. I will briefly talk about the proposed Nurse Visa Act for specifically nurses who are foreign trained, and the proposed reforms involving US immigration and customs enforcement, which is something that is currently going on in Congress, waiting to be passed. So I've received many questions after yesterday's video about the Nurse Visa Act. So we'll touch a little bit on that and clarify what is confirmed versus what is proposed. We're also going to read some of your questions, a lot of questions that I've received. So hopefully most questions will be answered instead of like answering people specifically. We can just read the questions and answer those questions, and hopefully most people will be, benefit. Most people will benefit from that. Please let me know where you're watching from. Esther, thank you for waiting. Esther Mwangi, how are you? Where are you watching from? Welcome to the live stream, guys. Today is, what day is today? Is it Thursday the 12th? Is it Friday where you are already or no? Let me know where you're watching from. Where are you guys watching from? Drop your location. So before we proceed, do you guys have any questions related to the DV program? Are you guys affected by any of the travel bans, any of the DV lottery pause, or the other 75 country immigrant visa pause? Let me know in the comment section if you are affected. Are you still waiting on your DV case? Is your country affected by the travel ban? Have you experienced delays due to your visa pauses? Or what do you think about this whole immigration process that is going on in the United States? Let me know in the comments section. We have in the house KGM34 watching from Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. Karibu, brother. Karibu, karibu, karibu. And Esther is watching from Nairobi in Rai. My sister lives there, I think. I think she lives in Rai. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Maurice, how are you? Watching from Siaya, Kenya. So how are you guys doing? Where are you in the process? If you're not in the process, are you anticipating or waiting for DV 2027 to be open? Or what is your situation right now? So as you continue to answer that, I have lots of questions here on the phone and more questions on YouTube as well. So let's see if we can answer those. But before that, let me talk a little bit about the Nurse Visa Act. I put that video up yesterday, and people had a lot of questions. People were like, how do I apply? I am... people are like, I'm interested in this. How do I apply? Other people were like, I'm a CNA and I want to do this. How can I join? Others were like, I'm in the nursing school. What should I do? So the thing that I wanted to mention is that one has not been passed into law yet. So it's something that is just being talked about. It's a proposal. It's a proposal for the government to start a visa category only for nurses. And so What they're saying is that there's a huge shortage here in the US for nurses, and that has been going on for a while. That's not something new, but they're saying the projection, if you look farther into the future and you project the nursing shortage, they're saying that by 2028, there's going to be way more serious shortages of nurses than how it is today. So the proposal is that they should invite or allow something's going on with my voice. That's why I was late for the live actually, because I couldn't get my voice to clear. But excuse me. But the proposal is for 20,000 nurses per year. For only nurses to come and work in the United States. Foreign-based nurses who have completed their NCLEX, who are ready to come and work, should be allowed to come to the country. I don't know if that's going to pass. A lot of people are hoping that it does. I had a comment from somebody saying 20,000 is too many. What do you guys think? 20,000 nurses per year to be allowed to come in. They want the government to create a visa category specifically for nurses. So somebody was like, okay, I'm a CNA. How can I apply for that one? But the thing is, if you're a CNA, you're not eligible, even if you are to come with the nurse pathway to the US, you have to be a registered nurse, right? So my recommendation to the person was for them to go to nursing school as they're waiting. So what should nurses do while they're waiting for this to be passed into law, because it hasn't been passed into law yet? So what they can do is just to continue with your schooling, because the bill was just introduced. It hasn't been passed through Congress. Just don't pause your life. Just continue, prepare, go to school, follow immigration news so you know, finish your program, do the NCLEX, and gain hospital experience, clinical exposure, because then you will have a better landing space, landing plane here if you already have the experience. So that's a little bit about the Nurse Visa Act proposal. If you want to hear the whole story about it, you can watch the video that I posted yesterday. So let me see if anybody has straight questions already. Good evening, Nyala. Good evening, Lucy, watching from Cameroon. I'm affected by the 2 paused DV and the 75 countries paused. Wow. Yeah, that's terrible. That's double trouble. But I'm saying the pauses are a little bit, if you have to compare the two, the pauses, the travel bans are more serious than the pauses. So I would rather, not that you have a choice of which one you would choose, but if I had to choose, I would rather be on the pause side instead of the travel ban, because the pause can be lifted anytime. And as we talked about the other day, there are some lawsuits that are going on which are trying to push the government to lift the pauses. So if you are affected by the pause, you never know. These litigations, these lawsuits can work, and within no time, we can see the pause is lifted. The travel ban, on the other hand, is not appealable. So you're not able to come and say, oh, I am going to fight the government now because my country is on a travel ban, because that's a presidential proclamation. So you cannot fight that. So if it's a pause, we're just praying and hoping that the pause will be lifted and things can move back to normal. I wish you all the best, Nyala. KGM 34, you're affected by the partial ban. Okay, which I forget, if did you ever tell me which visa category? I know you said you're from Tanzania, but which visa category are you applying? Lillian, will the DV winners in Kenya be given their visas after the interview? Many have gone for interview and are being put under 221G. Can you advise, please? So my advice is, and this is not advice from a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. My advice is to follow what it says on your letter. So whatever your letter says to do, just follow that and keep an eye on immigration updates. Keep watching the news, keep watching these updates, these channels that give you updates so that you can hear when the update is, when the pause is lifted. And I hope that will be soon. So once that pause is lifted, then people can, obviously, they're going to have some communication from your embassy to go get your visa. And I think somebody had asked me whether they will have to pay all over again. I don't believe that you'll have to make payments again. But another person was like, okay, what if my medical expires? So I'm hoping that this these immigration pauses will be lifted before people's medical expires, because as you know, your medical determines the validity of your visa. So depending on the day that you got your medical is how 6 months from then is how long your visa is valid. So lots of questions surrounding that and lots of anxiety, which is understandable, about, okay, now I paid for the visa interview, I paid for the medical, and now my visa is on pause because of the 221G. So all we can do right now is to wait and see. Hopefully these lawsuits, really, I'm hoping they're going to work. Lillian, you're from Elgeyo Marakwet County. Thank you for watching. Same to me. Okay. So KGM, DV lottery. Okay. So KGM, have you gone for your interview? Let me see. Let me see if you have mentioned whether you went for the interview. Did you get your 2NL? Have you guys received your 2NLs? That's another question that I wanted to ask. I'm hearing feedback from Cameroon and from Liberia and Ghana that there's nothing going on with your embassies as far as the DV. So is your embassy working? Are they doing what they're supposed to do? Yeah, somebody said, I think somebody sent me a message, and today I'm reading your messages. Somebody said, Claudia said, seems only Kenya is working. Kenya embassy is working. Other embassies are inactive. So I haven't received recent texts or recent information about 2NLs. The last one from the previous visa bulletin was 15,000. 15K case number had received their 2NL in Kenya. That is the Nairobi embassy. Most African countries are telling me that their embassies are not doing very well. So I'm curious to know which embassy is performing how. So not yet. Your case number 71K. Oh, okay. So we just hope. We just wait. We're waiting for the visa bulletin. Actually, I was checking to see if there's any update on that, and so far I didn't see anything actively going on. So I'm just going to share the screen with you. So we are waiting for this one that is saying coming soon. But if we look at the February one, oh, by the way, if you know how to read the visa bulletin, it lets you know whether your priority date is here, especially if you are on other family-based or employment-based visas. But for the purpose of this video, because a lot of people are DV lottery winners, we scroll all the way down to diversity visa immigrant category. So the last one that we had was 45,000, was their current case number. So if you're in Africa and you have numbers below 45,000 case number, you are eligible to get a visa. But the thing is, it depends on your embassy, how they are performing, because your case number could be current. But if your embassy is not ready to issue the visa, or they're not well prepared to do interviews, then it wouldn't matter even if your case number was low. For Algeria, the current case number is 37,000, and for Egypt is 21,000. For lots of fans, a lot of followers from Nepal, the case number is 65,000, Asia 30,000, Europe 11,000. So you can see how it's almost the same down here. This one was February, this one was March, so we are waiting for the next one to come up. So not much has changed a lot, not really much has changed, just a few numbers have changed here, but that's how you check. So I'm curious to see if there'll be any movement after that for the next visa bulletin, because usually after the visa bulletin is released, a few days later, the 2NLs are issued. So I'm curious to see what will happen. So you guys let me know next week, somewhere around next week, when you get if you get your 2NLs. Lillian saying thank you for the good services you're offering. What if you're current and when you check your status via email, it says currently processing 37K from Kenya? So it will show currently processing until your embassy sends you 2NL, until you're ready for the interview. So I would just wait, because it looks like you're current by going by what we just looked at the visa bulletin. But you just have to wait to get your 2NL. So I'm assuming you haven't received your 2NL, right? Like I said, the last information that I got by a feedback from Kenya was 15,000 case number. Clovis, you're saying AF 27K Cameroon. No. I'm assuming you're saying no 2NL. Can we have hopes to receive 2NLs for 37K? I believe so. But because the interviews are still going on, I would be more discouraged if interviews were not going on. But there is a ray of hope, because you guys are still being called for interviews. 2NLs are still being issued, even if not many, and even if not all African countries are doing it. At least for Kenya, something is happening. Even if it's only a few 2NLs that are being issued per month, it shows a little bit of goodwill that the process is still going on. The only thing that they're not doing is giving you the actual visa, is stamping the visa on your passport. But everything else is happening the way it should be happening. So don't lose hope, guys. Don't lose hope. Question from Haptom. How are you? I have received 2NL to March, but are they ask for hospital medical before interview or what? And on the travel ban, is it fine to go for interview? Which country? This is a conversation that we've been Hapton. Which country? This is a conversation that a lot of people have been asking me to chip in and to give my personal opinion. And it really has to be a personal opinion, because there's no way I can tell you to put your money towards a visa that you're almost guaranteed to not get. You know what I mean? Because the essence of getting the visa is for you to be able to enter the United States, and especially immigrant visa, you want to come and work and live in the United States permanently. That's why you are applying for the visa. The travel ban says that people from certain nationalities, people from certain countries, and in this case, 39 countries, including people who have Palestinian Authority documents, are not allowed to enter the United States. So in my head, my thinking is, why should I pay $330 to apply for a visa that will not let me come into the United States at the port of entry? And why should I pay medicals, which, especially if you have a family, that's a lot of money. So it is really a personal decision. There are people who have special circumstances, and you can look to see if you qualify for that. If you have a visa from a non banned country, not a visa, but a passport or a travel document from a non banned country, you can use that. Or if you qualify in other special ways that are beneficial to the US government. So that's my 2 cents about that. Thank you. We haven't received 2NL. I appreciate you. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Peter Oshaga, welcome back to the live, watching from Kenya. How are you today? Peter, remind me if you are a DV, are you a DV lottery winner? Nyala, what happens to my visa interview appointment? DV applicants may submit visa applications and attend interviews, but here in Cameroon, our own case is different because our embassy is not working. So that's what I was trying to say. No matter what your case number is, even if your case number is low, you still cannot proceed, because if your embassy is not working the way it's supposed to be working, then, and the way nowadays they're saying you're not even supposed to be moving your embassies. They want you to go to your local embassy, unless there are like extringent circumstances that do not allow you to go to that interview at your home country. All right. So those are some of the questions that are coming up. On TikTok, there are a lot of questions that people sent me on TikTok, and some of them are surrounding what we have already talked about. So let me see. Oh. I thought I just ended my live abruptly. Did you guys lose me for a minute? I thought my live just ended for a minute or so, but if you're still here, let me know. I thought my live ended. But anyway, some of the questions on TikTok are surrounding the same thing that we were talking about. Somebody said, forget 2027 DV. Maybe 2028 DV will open in October 2026. I don't think so. I don't think they can run concurrently like that. Something has got to give. Something has got to give. They need to announce the entry dates for 2027, really. There's a lawsuit that is actually going on about that. The people are joining the lawsuit for the immigrant visa pause and for the DV pause. And somebody says, I'm affected under Section 212F. I was refused the visa. Now I feel sick. I wonder which category that is, but that's the 212F is a refusal under the travel ban. Adoma says, I'm really worried because of everything that is going on, because I have applied, I received my interview date, but I'm from a travel ban country. So that's the same situation that somebody else is going through. What can be the reason for that? Because no DV winner has been interviewed here in Cameroon. The thing is, the immigration, the Department of State or whatever agency, they cannot force the specific consulates to issue visas or to issue to an else. It depends on the capacity for that embassy if they're able to even carry out the interviews. So I don't know what the reason could be. It could be administrative reasons. Maybe they don't have enough staffing. I don't know. It could be anything. I'm not sure what is going on, but we just have to wait. Some embassies perform really well one year, and then the next year they suck. And then it could be the other way around. Some embassies are just known for just being bad. They don't issue visas. Ibrahim says, my case is already 15 months under administrative processing. What happened to my case? So I think a few weeks ago, I did a video about administrative processing and what it means. So you have 12 months to issue the documents or to resolve the issue that made you be put on administrative processing in the first place. If you don't resolve those issues and your case goes way over 12 months, chances are that you've lost that case. So that's why I always say read the fine print, know what is going on with your case inside out, know what different letters mean, do your research about these things, understand the timelines and pay attention to the timelines. So I'm not sure about the specifics, Ibrahim, of your case, but I would seek immigration attorney guidance because 15 months is already too long, and I don't know the specifics for your case. Clovis, what is really wrong with Cameroon embassy, right? I'm not sure what's going on with your embassy, guys. Eritrea. Okay. So that's the document you're using for Eritrea. Yeah, that one is under the total ban. So like I said, it's a very, very personal decision. Somebody says that I don't have to worry about this is funny if you guys want to laugh, but it's not really funny, but I don't have to worry about the immigration pathways because the $1 million Trump gold card is going to help me come to the United States. So good for you. You guys know about the Trump card that if you pay $1 million, you can get green cards. So this person says they don't have to worry about any other pathways because they can come to the US using the Trump gold card. Good on you if you have $1 million. If I had $1 million, I would not be here. That's my opinion. Haptom Asmera says, but I have second passport for Uganda. Okay, so use that. Use that. Even if Uganda is under the partial, not the partial, but the 75 country immigrant visa pause, you can use that then. And then hopefully with the lawsuits that are going on, the pauses will be lifted and you can proceed. You must complete every process before you go to the interview. Yes, you have to complete all those processes before you go to the interview. But something that he just mentioned is that he has another passport, so he can use the Ugandan passport. So if you want to proceed with that, then you have to do your medical before you go for the interview. Yes, thank you, Lillian, for that. Question. My DV was cancelled. My diversity visa was cancelled without prejudice. What does that mean? It means that you were denied the visa because of the travel ban. It's because they cannot issue you a visa at this time, not because of something that you did. It's because of the policies that are in place, and their hand is forced to deny you the visa. You could have all your documents, you could have passed the interview with flying colors, but they are not allowed to issue you a visa. So they cancel the visa after the travel ban was announced because you are not going to be allowed entry into the United States. So that's what that means. Somebody says, I have a visa, but I am afraid of traveling. But I am from the 75 immigrant visa pause countries. So if you already have a visa, you should travel. If you already have a visa, you should travel, unless you're from a country that is on the travel ban. If it's just a pause and you already have a visa, you should travel. Don't be afraid. Nana said, what happens if the pause is lifted? What happens to the people who already went for visa interviews? Is the embassy going to let them know to come get their visas, or do they have to pay all over again? I don't think you have to pay. I think the process is going to be a little bit smoother then, I hope. All you have to do is go get your visa stamped or mail it or drop it off at the embassy. I think there will be communication as far as what to do with that. So, and that's why I'm encouraging people to follow the instructions on the 2NL. If the 2NL says you have a visa scheduled, some people are opting not to go, and I'm wondering why. They're saying that the pause could be indefinite and they are losing money, they are wasting their money, which is a point that they are making. But on the other hand, wouldn't you want to be in line, a little bit closer to the forefront in line to get your visa, as opposed to being all the way in the back if they lift the pause? You know what I mean? Going for the interview make you be closer to being issued the visa. You don't have to wait so long. And with these immigration changes, you never know what is going to happen next. It's like every day we are not even sure what's going on. We have to stay on our toes about these immigration updates, because every day is something new coming up. Actually, talking about that, there's something going on right now in Congress, because they're saying that the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency needs to improve on what they're doing and how they're handling business. And therefore, some lawmakers are raising concerns about that, and they want some of the practices to be changed. And so there's a letter that was sent to Congress to make them think about what they're doing and change their ways. So February 13th is the expiration date tomorrow of a temporary funding measure for the Department of Homeland Security. So that temporary funding, or also called continuing resolution, was passed to keep the government running, while Congress is negotiating the full 2026 budget. So lawmakers are still negotiating issues related to immigration enforcement, including proposed restrictions involving immigration and customs enforcement and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. If Congress does not pass a new funding bill or another short-term extension by midnight on February 13th, that's tomorrow, there could be a partial shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. So this will affect the TSA, that's Transportation Security Administration at the airports, and disaster response from FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and also operations of the United States Coast Guard. So this deadline is essentially forcing Congress to either reach an agreement or pass another short-term extension to avoid disruption. So some of you are wondering what I'm talking about. So because of recent occurrences with the ICE, people are not happy with what is going on and how they are conducting business. So there was a letter that was recently sent by Democratic members of Congress, including House and Senate leadership, raising concerns about certain practices within immigration and customs enforcement and calling for reforms. So, what they're saying and what they are requesting is that there should be increased oversight and accountability, clearer limits on use of force, body cameras for agents, judicial warrants in certain situations, stronger protection for constitutional rights, and so if that doesn't get passed, then DHS will not get the funding that they need. And so that's why it's very crucial that they come to consensus today. So if you wanted to read that letter, you can find it here. Let me see what they are asking for. Leaders Jeffries and Schumer deliver urgent ICE reform demands to Republican leadership. So they're saying for months, the American people have watched in horror as U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has terrorized communities across the country. After months of escalation against everyday Americans and law-abiding immigrant families, the U.S. citizens were killed in the streets of Minneapolis. Federal immigration agents cannot continue to cause chaos in our cities while using taxpayer money that should be used to make life more affordable for working families. The American people rightfully expect their elected representatives to take action to rein in ICE and ensure no more lives are lost. It is critical that we come together to impose common sense reforms and accountability measures that the American people are demanding. So they believe that Congress needs to enact the following guardrails by tomorrow night. Otherwise, they're not going to pass the budget for the Department of Homeland Security. So these are just the highlights. Targeted enforcement. They cannot enter private property without judicial warrant. No masks. They want ICE to get rid of wearing face coverings. They want requirement of ID. Department of Homeland Security officers conducting immigration enforcement to display their agency, their unique ID number, and their last name. And then they want sensitive areas to be protected. And this include medical facilities, churches, childcare facilities, polling stations, and courts. And then they want to stop racial profiling, to stop questioning and searching based on individuals' presence at certain locations, their job, their spoken language, their accent, or their race and ethnicity. And then they want to uphold use of force standards, place into law a reasonable use of force policy, expand training, and require certification of officers. Ensure state and local coordination oversight, build safeguards into the system. They want body cameras for accountability, not for tracking. They want to require the use of body-worn cameras. And I think this is already in effect in Minneapolis, but it's not nationwide. No paramilitary police. They want to regulate and standardize the type of uniforms and equipment DHS officers are carrying during enforcement operations to bring them in line with civil enforcement. So those are some of the things that are going on right now. This is something that I'm following. I did a video on that already. I think I posted it on TikTok, and I'm waiting to see what's going to happen tomorrow night to see whether things will be passed or there will be any changes about that. If you have any questions about that, you can either follow congress.gov or watch immigration updates. But I'm looking at that story to see what's going to happen with that. So do you guys have any other questions about the Nurse Act, Nurse Visa Act, or the DV lottery pause. Somebody says, that DV part got me. Thought the president stopped it too. No, he cannot stop the whole DV lottery process. He can pause it. He can do a lot of damage, but he cannot like solely by himself just decide to cancel the DV. Nancy says, let's continue praying. God's will is enough. Whatever God wills will happen. That is true. Adika says, DV 2027 will not open. I am says, didn't he permanently pause the diversity visa process? No. I have yet to hear from them after passing my citizenship exam. So that's what's going on in the US, especially the immigrant visa pause. That is a huge lawsuit happening because a lot of people are affected. People who are this close to getting their citizenship. Processing by USCIS is on pause. So people who are doing adjustment of status cases, people who are trying to change from one visa category to another, or from one immigration status to another, are in limbo from those 75 countries. So I'm curious to hear what country you're from. Okay. Will visas for 2026 ever be released? Njoro, yeah, you're asking whether the visas will be issued. As soon as the pause is lifted, I'm hoping that people will now start getting their visas. I'm just checking to see if there's any. So Ghana Embassy, Debbie is asking, Ghana Embassy, when will they start issuing 2NLs? I really don't know. I hope that these embassies can start working, and so that we don't lose so many visa opportunities especially for DV lottery, because we are already in Feb, and DV 2026 will end on September 30th, 2026. So we only have, how many months are those? Are they 7? All right, somebody's saying, I received the 212 letter, 212F letter, and fiance visa as a Nigerian in South Korea. So 212 is because Nigeria is on the travel ban. What about South Korea? Let me look at South Korea. South Korea is not on any of that list. But Nigeria is on the travel ban. Let me look at my list. Remember, guys, I was telling you I have so many lists that I have to keep looking because people are asking me specific questions about their country. And I have to keep looking to see which country is which and which country is affected by which pause or which ban. So I think your issue is the fact that you're from Nigeria. Rafi says, I'm affected by the travel ban. Jatotako says, will they ever open the program again? What is the information from USA News? Right now, no news at all. No news about the DV program, no news about the visa pause, none of that. And Jabari has an explanation for some people who needed to know what the 221G is. Because the question was, I have a tourist visa from 2 years ago, but last year I applied for immigrant CR1 visa, and my interview was last week. I was denied because of the pause. I got the INA 221G administrative processing. Anyway, since I got refused, I need to visit my husband in the United States on my tourist visa. It's valid. Will they let me? I'm not planning on staying there. I just want to visit for a couple of months. Yes, so I've been getting different questions about the tourist visa also, and I'll quickly talk about that in a little bit. But somebody was gracious enough to answer that question, because sometimes I can't get to the questions as fast enough. And they said 221G is a temporary US visa refusal under Section 221G of the Immigration and Nationality Act, indicating that a consular officer lacks necessary information to approve a visa. It is not a permanent denial, but rather an administrative processing hold, often requiring additional documentation or security checks. And in our case right now, a lot of those are being issued because there's a nationwide or worldwide diversity visa lottery pause, and also an immigrant visa pause. All right, so, and then I had somebody asked, when should I reapply after I'm denied a visitor visa? So for some reason, I'm not sure why they were denied in the first place, but they wanted to reapply, but they had just been denied like last month. So they wanted to know, when can I reapply for my visitor's visa? I wanted to know from her how come what they think, why they think they were denied. And they said it's because they have family here. They have family in the US, and I think their daughter was graduating, but they had already like tried to apply for a green card before. So the thing with that is that once you apply for an immigrant visa, like a green card, you are already in the system. You have shown intent to migrate, to immigrate to the United States. So when you go to apply for a visitor visa, they become very, very suspicious that you might be using that visitor visa to come to the US and then to stay here permanently. So they might deny you on suspicion of trying to be misrepresent yourself, and you're using the wrong visa. So they will deny you on those grounds. So the way to overcome that is either somebody files for you, so you're coming, or you win the diversity visa, you win the visa, the DV, and you come here. In that case, then they will just give you the visa because you're, immigrating to the United States. If you had not applied for a immigrant visa before and was just a denial, maybe because you didn't show strong ties to your home country, or maybe because they are missing a document, or whatever reason that you suspect that they denied you the visa, you have to show that your circumstances have changed from the previous time. You cannot go with the same documents, the same reason, the same attitude, the same answers to your questions. You have to show that your circumstances have changed so that the officer can grant you the visa. So as soon as you have those things in place, and don't forget, you're paying for this. This is not free. So be prepared so that you don't have to lose money. All right. Make sure your circumstances have changed before you go back and ask for another visa. And then there was another question about what documents should I get from my host? What documents are required? So it depends on the embassy. For the longest time, I thought all the embassies require the same paperwork. I came to find out that Ghana embassy did not ask. One of the guys that I interviewed did not ask for an affidavit of support. So that is one of the documents that are required from your host. Obviously, you have to know the contact information, get a little bit of information about your host, know some kind of history about them. The affidavit of support is how you overcome the potential for being labeled a public charge which is the grounds for what is now going on for the 75-country immigrant visa pause. According to the government, nationals from these 75 countries have the potential of being a financial burden to the United States, which is called the public charge. And so they're saying that these people should not be allowed to come to the United States because, I don't know, going by which statistics, they have decided that these people are going to be a financial burden to taxpayers, American taxpayers. We are going to come here and spend their money because people are going to ask for donations, grants, and public funds and medical. They're going to ask for food stamps, housing, all that. They are not going to be able to financially sustain themselves. So the affidavit of support was the due process, was one of the things that you were able to overcome that. You were able to overcome that public charge burden, and it's issued by your host. Your host would present that or would send that to your embassy. The other thing is your host, not W-2, but tax returns. This is hand in hand with the affidavit of support. So tax returns, they show that the host has enough money, enough financial capability to be able to support you until either you get your green card or you get your citizenship, or you're able to stand on your 2 feet and be able to support yourself. So yes, those are the two important things. And obviously knowing about your host, just a little bit information so that when they ask you at the interview, you're not looking like a deer in the headlights, not knowing what they are talking about. All right. Somebody's asking, Kenya, what is the current case number? Mirabelle says, I pray that it should be open soon. Deused Bond says, only God can help us because we are helpless right now. And then somebody says, why is it important to come to the United States? It's not important to everybody. Not everybody wants to come to the United States. Some people would rather not. Some people are leaving the United States and going to other countries. It depends on what you really want to do with your life. If you feel like the United States is going to give you opportunities and you want to come and try to chase the American dream, then yes, by all means. If this is not your cup of tea, if the US is not your cup of tea, then it's not. Kwesi says, after getting your visa, is it okay to apply for the green card before you leave, or you have to get there before? Okay, on the DS-260, there's a place that lets you know, or in some kind of paperwork, you are aware that you have to pay for the green card, right? In addition to the $330, I think it's 200 and something dollars for the green card, and that goes to USCIS to process your green card. You do not get the green card while you are abroad. You have to enter the United States, and then you'll be issued with the green card, which is now even slower if you're from one of those 75 countries. Every day I dream of coming to the United States. So I hope you're doing something about it. I hope you're applying for different visas. Rehab anasema, I think wanaweza fungua March this year, then the results itakam July hapo hivyo. So she's predicting that they might open the DV 2027 in March, and then the results will come out in July. We can only wait and see, right? Hello, Daniel. I'm from Angola. I would like to know if the pause is lifted, will the partial ban countries be affected? The pause is not lifted yet, and Angola is on the partial travel ban, and that affects immigrant visas. So, yes, unless you have like some other travel documents or other special circumstances that exempt you from it. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. So if you guys, uh, yeah, lots of people affected by the 75 country immigrant visa pause, family-based visas, especially. Somebody says, it's been 3 years, I have not seen my husband. Somebody says, I'm in Senegal. I am worrying because I'm from the Gambia. And the Gambia is on the list. I'm pretty sure about that. The Gambia is on the partial travel ban. A friend received 221F letter. His visa category is EB2. Yep, those are the government presidential proclamations. I'm just checking to make sure that I have answered, because this live today was just trying to answer most of the questions that I'm receiving so that people don't feel like they are being ignored. You know what I mean? Rahab says, thank you. You are doing a good job. Update us when they open the DV application 2027. Yes, I will. I'm looking forward to that. I know a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. Does that mean that when the pause is lifted, we have to start the application again? I don't believe so. When the pause is lifted, all you have to do is go get your visa if you are already approved. My daughter's oath ceremony was cancelled. Wow. Can you imagine going through that whole process of change of status and you have gone through the whole process, biometrics, everything, and they have even scheduled your oath ceremony for your naturalization test, and that was cancelled? Wow. Somebody got their visa. Congratulations. Their case number was 6K in Nairobi. Congratulations. Somebody says, it's so sad, this 212F. I did my interview yesterday, but I was given the 221F letter and it's breaking me. That's sad. That's sad because that's the travel ban, and there's really not much that people can do about the travel ban. I know with the pauses they can at least push with the lawsuits, but it's sad with the pause. It's sad with the ban. Somebody says, I'm done with the interview and visa was approved, but I'm sure I'm also affected by this pause because I'm from those 75 countries. So we just hope. Actually, no, I'm not from the 75 country. It's not from the 75 country. It's the DV pause. So we have to wait until the pause is lifted. How do you think case number 88 from Afrique, Djibouti, do we have a chance? So as long as visa interviews are continuing, then we should be okay. We just hope and pray that the pause will be lifted. So I'm going back to see And I don't see any new questions. So basically, that was it. That was what I came on the live to talk about the proposed Nurse Visa Act that is proposing to bring in 20,000 foreign trained nurses every year to help with the US shortage of nurses. I'm a nurse here in the US, and this has always been a thing. A lot of nurses are leaving bedside. After COVID, lots of nurses left bedside. So there's always a constant shortage of nurses, and they feel like it's not going to be recovering soon. And they are willing to propose that 20,000 nurses, foreign trained nurses, should have their own visa category so that they can come and help with the nursing shortage. So if you are a nurse or you know a nurse who is interested in that, look out for the news, for the updates to see whether that's going to pass in Congress and become a law. If it becomes a law, then that is a new visa category for nurses. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be following that story to see how that goes. We were answering all your questions today about the DV pauses, the 75 country immigrant visa pause, the travel bans, and just checking in to see which country is issuing visas, not visas, but which countries are issuing 2NLs, which countries are not doing anything. Obviously, from Cameroon, I've heard a lot of complaints about Cameroon, nothing going on there. People having concerns about whether they should go for interviews if their country is on a travel ban. And my advice is, if you don't have another travel document that is from a non-banned country, I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk it because you'll be traveling all the way over here to the port of entry and you will be denied entry. And there's nothing as frustrating as that. And you have to pay for your way back. You know how when you're coming to the US to immigrate, like to live and work here, you are allowed to do a one-way ticket, as opposed to when you're coming for like a visitor visa, using a visitor visa, you should have a two-way ticket. That way they don't suspect that you're coming to stay here and live here permanently. But can you imagine if you do all that, you come from a travel banned country, you do all that, you pay for your flights, for everything, all the visa-related costs, and then you get to the port of entry and you're not allowed entry. That's terrible. And then you have to pay your way back. They'll put you on the next plane and you're going to be sent back. So you have to think about that. As harsh and as frustrating that it may sound, you have to think about, are you willing to do that? Do you want to risk? If you have another travel document that is from a non-banned country, then use that moving forward so that your visa can be stamped on that particular passport. So if you don't have any other questions, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for supporting my channel. On this channel, we talk about legal pathways of coming to the United States. I give you immigration updates from here in the US. And we talk about the diversity visa process and life in America as an African immigrant. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. I wish you guys a good night if you're going to bed. And if you're still up and it's still daylight in your place, good evening. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.